Welcome back to HPL. We just saw Jab take a 1-0 lead here in this match with Zalae in a Rogue mirror, something I did not expect to see in Game 1. I did not expect to see Jab queue up Rogue here, but you know what? He showed that he was pretty good with the deck.
Yeah, I mean, being able to, execute a bigger range is something that's a big talking point for him. We've seen him play a lot of mid-range strategies, and he can't afford to get targeted in that scenario, so love the mix-up.
Yeah, love the mix-up. You know, we're going to see if he mixes it up again here. Game 2 is Zalae versus Jab.
Yeah, I mean, now at this point, his range is a little bit more wide open, and Zalae, you know what? He's looking to punish that. Love the choice here from him, too. Wants to be as recklessly aggressive as he possibly can, and I'll tell you what, Arcane Golems is a great way to do it.
Yeah, if you want to go to the face Arcane Golem with Haunted Creeper and Mad Scientist in a 100 deck, that's the way to do it. And it looks like Jab is going to be playing Druid. We talked about this, leading in. He's got a very good win rate with this deck.
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the, harder matchups for it is something like Face Hunter, though. If you don't get a very strict control over the board very early, you see this game slip very quickly out of proportion. But that first pickup from Zalae, not a very good one. Explosive Trap is not a card you actually want to draw.
Yeah, I was about to say this. Not only do you not want to draw in this matchup, Explosive Trap, not always the best card in the Druid matchup. Freezing Trap really shines in this one.
Yeah, Wrath's going to come out here. When he grabbed the card so quickly out of his hand, I was like, is that the old Innervate Keeper of the Grove? That's a devastating one to see. So able to get a second trap out of his deck now. Happy that he's not going to be drawing that. But which one of these minions does he go with now? I mean, there's a potential for the Leper Gnome to try to continue to throw off his curve a little bit, but outside of Shade Next Ramus, that's the only threat he's going to have. There are multiple things at the 4-drop slot, though, including Innervate shenanigans as well. But Innervate on 3 is also something that you have to consider. So, able to get a little bit of damage in here with this Haunted Creeper, but the Eaglehorn Bow, bigger story of this is that the trap sitting behind the Eaglehorn Bow is able to push through a lot of damage here. So going to be very interesting to see if he develops this early or if he just wants to get minion pressure.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that Jab is going to play the Shade of Next Ramus here instead of innervating out 5-drop. I kind of like the play. If he wants to next turn, he can attack with the Shade into a Haunted Creeper, proc, what he thinks might be a freezing trap, and then when it's not, he has a swipe turn that's going to be very, very good here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how he interprets it. I think with the Leper Gnome, it will be a little bit more of an indicator that it's something like Explosive Trap, but we'll have to see exactly how he wants to tackle this one.
Yeah, I have to believe he's going to unveil the Shade here this turn. I was going to say, you can't let this board tension keep building on the other side. You can't take all this damage, and this just seems like a very, very clean swipe turn. The question is, where does the actual swipe go? Do you go upstairs?
I think you pointed at the Haunted Creeper. You need to start getting very strict control over the board, and also keeping beasts around can enable kill command at this spot. He's just going to go for face. So this does accomplish another goal here, though, is that it does keep damage off the board. So he's not taking as much of it. If he sits behind a couple taunts in that position, he might feel totally comfortable with that.
And depending on how Zalae plays his turn, this Shade is going to grow too big to die to this Explosive Trap if he doesn't do something about it. But Wolf Rider's picked up, so Zalae doesn't have a ton of two-play options here. He can't play the Explosive Trap, so he's only going to be able to play one card this turn, and it's going to have to be something like Eaglehorn Bow, Wolf Rider, or Arcane Golem.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it looks like he really wants to utilize this Eaglehorn Bow, but that pulls a lot from his development and kind of gives Jab free reign over any minion he wants to start sticking to the board.
And if he plays this Eaglehorn Bow, does he, go into the Shade here? But no, he's actually just going to extend his board a little bit here and just start pushing for a lot of damage.
Yeah, love going for the face here. I mean, if he's going to trade the Wolf Rider in, oh gosh, such a good draw from Jab here too. If he wants to trade the Wolf Rider in, he's not getting the damage to face out of it, which is what this deck is dedicated to doing, is trying to punish your opponent as quickly as you can. But Jab here is just the right tools to make sure he can disrupt this and keep moving forward.
Yeah, Keeper of the Grove is a great card in this matchup. It's a good early body for the Druid deck while being able to either remove or silence an early minion from the Hunter decks. It's just a great draw.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and proc the Explosive Trap here, though. Wants to make sure he gets that in before he sees something like Eaglehorn Bow. The fact that Jab was thinking about this, the fact that Zalae was thinking about this for so long, Jab, I think, is factoring into that. Going to leverage his life total here. This is one of the few turns I think he has an opportunity to do so. And now Druid of the Claws here. In this position, if Zalae wants to kill command this, I think the Jab's totally fine with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about this going into the match. The Jab is very comfortable using his life total as a resource, especially with Druid, and you're seeing him take a little bit of blowback to get a good position on the board there.
Yeah, this 4-1 Shade, I mean, this is starting to become a little bit daunting now. Explosive Trap can make sure that it's not going to attack for a little while, but when he's sitting there trying to control the board, something he's not doing is getting in a ton of damage. So has a few ways.
Good juggles here.
Yeah, this is so important right now. That's not a bad one. That's not a bad one either. This will allow Eaglehorn Bow to push through, and now the Shade is suddenly starting to become checked again. So 2 excellent pickups on the juggles here. The only thing he didn't want to see was the knife juggles go to face.
Yeah, as you said, he was okay with any juggles that didn't actually hit Jab's face, which is a weird proposition to think of it with a face hunter deck, but he really, really needed those juggles to be going to minions.
Yeah, but Keeper of the Grove, though, going to swing this board right back around, and this Shade
And I want to see Jab go upstairs here with this Shade.
It's starting to rain some terror in here. I mean, this is a really bad-looking position for Zalae, and 5 more damage comes crashing
Jab
in.
has a Savage Roar in his hand.
Yeah, Unleash the Hounds, you know, not a bad pickup here, but he needs way more damage than this to get the job done. And I think so far the story has been that Jab has had the right tools to disrupt that early game.
The Savage Roar is actually lethal next turn if these minions get to stay on the board.
Yeah, assuming he, even through the Explosive Trap, I mean, the Shade's 2 health now, but it's growing again. So if he wants to play the Explosive Trap as his defensive measure, he's going to have to sacrifice one of his units to do it.
Yeah, he's going to have to move his minion into the Shade here. And I think that's what you're going to see him do. Yeah, it's a good tight play here from Zalae. Jab is probably going to be able to read this and just not attack this turn, I'm assuming. It's a decent turn to either armor up and use Lotheb, which I think is what you're going to see him do, or you could drop an Emperor, but I have to believe it's going to be Lotheb, armor up, and then kill him next turn.
Yeah, I mean, Lotheb to shut off every single spell that's available is such a powerful play.
Yeah, it's a great play from Jab here.
And more importantly, Zalae has not been able to utilize you know, his Eaglehorn bow to full effect at this point. He's had to attack minions with it at certain points. You know, he hasn't had a ton of pressure coming out. Kill command's unplayable this turn. This is just every single step of the way. Jab has it checked.
Looks like Jab is going to come out to a quick 2-0 lead here in this match. Not what we expected to see at all. I expected to see a little more back and forth, but Jab has really been turning on the heat here in HPL here in these last couple matches, just showing his full range and showing that he can actually adapt here in this format. You know what? He's putting a lot of people on notice.
Yeah, I mean, the swipe here was such an important card in this game, too. Without swipe, this board would have very quickly snowballed out of control, wouldn't have had the time to handle the pressure that was throwing out, and then after that, all the charge damage that's available for Zalae would have been able to handle this. But having the right cards at the right time and then using them properly, that's the way you win Hearthstone.
Yeah, I mean, he had an early Wrath, he had an early swipe, played really well with him. I gotta believe, I have been very impressed with Jab so far in this match. Nothing against Zalae, but Jab has been playing great here so far.
Yeah, I mean, we've really seen a big turnaround. The fact that he's shied away from Hunter strategy, which he was getting targeted from, you know, he was playing Hunter, he was getting targeted a lot. Yeah, the fact that he's swapped away from that and shown that he can execute a full range of strategies, that puts that, like, just like you said, it puts people on notice. You can't just mess around with Jab anymore. You have to be able to come correct and put him to the test. And so far in this game, wasn't able to get it done.
Yeah, it wasn't able to get it done. Now, Zalae's going to charge into the Lotheb here, making it, you know, die to the Explosive Trap, but Jab's going to have enough damage to get through here with the Savage
just too little too late, really, at this point, and that's going to do it. The charge damage plus the Savage Roar, just the Savage Roar enough. I mean, he's got all the tools he needs to end this game. Love that he pushed the action with this Shade, too, really showing how strong of a card this is when it goes unchecked.
Absolutely, and then Jab's going to take a 2-0 lead here over Zalae, and you know what? I've got to go back to something that happened last week. Jab was 0-2 last week after Thursday's show, and I actually went onto his stream afterwards, and I talked to him, and I was like, hey man, like, rough loss tonight. What are you going to do going forward? And this was only a few hours after the show, after he'd taken his second loss here in HPL, and he told me in his chat, he was like, I'm already working on my strategy for next week, 4 days before his next match. I loved seeing that intensity. I loved seeing that devotion here to HPL, and he's like, you know what? I'm not going to lose again like that. I feel like I'm getting targeted. I'm going to change my ideas. I'm going to change my plans, and I'm going to start winning. I love the confidence, and you're seeing it in his play. Yeah,
Zalae in this match kind of becoming a victim of his own aggression this regard. I don't think it's his fault. I love his game plans moving in, but when your opponent's got the right answers, you will stumble in some of these matches. If you want to see how he's been stumbling, you can head over to pvplive.net, check out the recap from this game, the stats breakdown, exactly how these games were played and how Jab was able to pick up these wins. Guys, don't go anywhere because we got game 3 of this match coming right up. Jab is out to a 2-0 lead over Archon's Zalae. He's on match point, and Zalae needs 3 straight. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Hearthstone on PvP Live.